The current U.S. administration has announced sweeping new tariffs under a plan dubbed Liberation Day, including a baseline 10% tariff on everything imported to the U.S., plus reciprocal tariffs based on how each country allegedly treats U.S. exporters. These new tariffs reach as high as 46%. Among those hit hardest, PC builders and tech buyers. Countries like China, 34%, Taiwan, 32%, South Korea, 25%, and Vietnam, 46%.
And some other kind of hilarious countries.
Are all major sources of SSDs, RAM, GPUs, PC cases, laptops, and basically everything in your rig. Boutique builders like Maingear and Falcon Northwest are already warning of 20 to 25% price hikes. These companies build PCs in the US, but rely almost exclusively on parts from Asia. Parts that, I'm sorry, but the cold hard truth is that nobody is going to be making in North America anytime soon. Shortages are already reappearing as suppliers scramble to relocate their production. Even GPUs, which were already a pricing mess, are taking a hit. GPU manufacturing lines in China are being paused to shift production to countries that now also have high tariffs, so there's seemingly nowhere left to hide. Semiconductors are seemingly exempt, but the machines that are needed to make them and products that those semiconductors are pre-installed in are not. Meaning that we could see higher fab costs down the road, especially if companies want to expand outside the US. So, how were these tariffs calculated? Economist James Surowiecki says that it appears that the White House simply divided the US trade deficit by each country's exports to the US. For example, the United States imports $28 billion from Indonesia and exports $10 billion, equals 64% tariff. That is like honestly, if I asked my kids to figure it out.
Well, you can ask ChatGPT, and then it gives you a pretty similar thing. But if you're trying to balance trade deficits, like, okay.
Fair enough.
But they said that these were tariffs and these were reciprocal because there was tariffs there. And that's just flat out not true.
Also,
yeah.
But also there's nuance. Say, for example, I mean, wow. Okay. All right. So that's something that people are going to need to deal with.
Dude, Cambodia getting hit with the old 97%.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So yeah, I mean, I guess the good thing about this is that a lot of people who hadn't figured it out before are kind of as the youth say, finding out now.
Right. Yes. Yeah. There's an interesting political thing with this. Have you looked at the actual chart itself and the countries listed on it?
I haven't. I've seen recreations of the rates, like I've looked at tables of it, but no, I haven't looked at the exact chart.
The fourth country on the list is Taiwan.
Oh.
Specifically named.
Well, that's cool.
It's interesting. It's actually very interesting.
I think it's cool.
In my opinion. Yeah.
I think I've been pretty upfront that...
Yeah, I think we both have.
Taiwan's a country.
I'm surprised. I'll say that much.
Taiwan has its own federal government. I mean, is that they could be invaded by another country. That sovereign government could be replaced. But if you have your own federal government, you are a country, right?
Yeah, someone in chat, I haven't verified this
military.
Myself, but someone in chat said it also includes several uninhabited islands. Yeah,
I saw that.
I heard that it includes a country of 3,000 people.
Yeah. It includes at least one island that literally doesn't export anything to the U.S.
Which one?
I forget. It's some like
Because I've heard people say that, but I haven't like looked into these things. But yeah, pretty great. Pretty great. I don't see Canada here.
Canada. You'll find Canada eventually.
Is it on here?
Yeah, there are some countries that curiously dodged tariffs, so that was interesting.
It's weird that it's in no order. Like it's not in a. It's not in alphabetical order. It's not in like size of the tariffs order. It's not in size of the reciprocal tariffs order. It's just seems to be totally random. Yeah, I only have a picture of 2 of them. Canada's not included in that list. It has separate tariffs. Ah, very cool. Very good. Very nice. Very demure.
Oh, man. Well, yeah. Good luck, everybody. So let's talk about LTT Store. This is scripted from Taryn, so I'm not going to deviate too much from it.
Apparently a U.S. military base is in the list of tariffs. Sorry, that's really funny. Okay, we can keep going.
Unless you're just joining the show, you've probably heard about the broad tariffs. I think the original draft of this said, unless you've been living under a rock. I see someone's done another pass. Anyway, you've probably heard about the broad tariffs that have already come into effect or will on May the 2nd. We've seen some questions about what this will mean for pricing on lttstore.com. Well, the team has been working diligently behind the scenes, basically since last November, to minimize the total costs to our customers, who we recognize are not the people that we are at trade war with. And I'm going to share some of these initiatives with you, including 1, offsetting some of the cost of tariffs by negotiating with our suppliers to help ensure that we are getting the best costs possible so that we can keep our prices reasonable for you. Number 2, exploring new manufacturing locations, though, as we just discussed recently, where now? I don't know. Okay, sure. Number 3, rolling out Canadian pricing for Canadian customers soon, TM.
Working on it.
Because in the past, there's been really no point because our costs are in USD, because that's traditionally been the international currency of international trade. And our pricing has been derived from our costs plus some markup. So there was really not much point in us having a CAD price. But now our pricing in USD is going to be derived from our cost in USD plus, pardon my French, bullshit tariffs, plus our margin. So they no longer get to be equivalent.
Some of the delay, I'm just adding here, some of the delay there is we never expected this. So a lot of the things that we built for the store were built expecting one store to exist.
Yeah.
So some of our stuff needs to be adapted to be able to support more than one store, which is maybe useful in the future. I don't know, but work that needs to be done.
And number 4 is that we are rapidly accelerating our efforts to explore localized fulfillment so we can get our products to you faster with lower shipping costs. This will be a phased approach.
It's going to take time.
Unfortunately, none of these things is a magic bullet. We're going to do our best to hold existing prices on whatever we can afford, but customers should expect that costs will go up as we approach May the 2nd. We will do everything in our power to minimize the impact of the tariffs on what you pay for your products, but this tariff situation is tough. It's tough on us. We don't want to raise prices, and it's tough on you. You do not want to pay higher prices. The one thing that we can always control and that we will continue to control is that we will provide our customers with excellent, high-quality products and with outstanding Trust Me Bro support. And we'll do that no matter what external forces arise. So that's...
How do returns work?
That's all I have to say about that. We'll probably just end up eating some stuff there.
Yikes.
I don't know. I mean, look...
I never actually thought about this before, but yeah, if you buy something, get it tariffed on the way in, I'm sure you don't get a refund for your tariff when you return it.
I actually don't.
I have
don't
no
know.
idea.
We've never had to
Not a
deal
clue.
with this.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. And I'm not necessarily convinced that the effort is being made to staff the organization, the government organizations that are supposed to be dealing with all of this to make the experience smooth and fast.
Will float plane pricing be going up as well? I don't think there's a...
We have no plans to alter anything about float plane pricing. Like I said, look, we are not one of those kinds of companies that looks for inflation in a headline or, or takes a global emergency like COVID and uses it as an opportunity to raise our pricing. Like I see a ton of criticism all the time of how expensive our products are. For crying out loud, find me another merch store that sells high quality printed t-shirts for $20. Show me another creator who sells that for $20 that matches our quality. The quality is outstanding, as proven by Project Farm, right? Like we do try our best. We have to make money. That's how we survive. That's how we make the content that you guys enjoy. That's how we pay the people you like,
Hopefully.
We have to make money, right? But we're not predatory. We're not trying to be unreasonable or anything. So we're not going to say like, oh, there's tariffs and general uncertainty, so we're going to jack up float plane pricing. I have telegraphed already in the past that we are going to have to increase float plane pricing at some point, but we're not going to claim that it's because of this. It's just because, hey, we haven't touched pricing in
8 years?
Something like that, yeah. And we have a lot more resources that go into float plane now. We have dedicated people that work on nothing but float plane now. So, and I mean on the content side, like the LTT side, I don't mean on the float plane media side. We've always had dedicated people there. And I mean that in both senses. The float plane team's incredible. Very dedicated. Where was I going with that? Right. So yeah, we're not going to like make excuses and just like jack up prices. That's not our way, but there will be an impact. Like if our cost on something to deliver it to you goes up by, tens of %, I don't have that kind of margin to just absorb it on everything. And I don't think it's reasonable to say, oh, well, Linus, you should just eat it. You should just make nothing on this. Why? What did I do such that I should do that?
And are you okay telling everyone that works here that they don't get raises because we're making literally nothing?
Wouldn't even just be
if we're making literally
raises.
Nothing, then people are getting fired.
Well, that wouldn't be fired. So there's an important distinction between fired and laid off. Fired is dismissed for lack of performance. Laid off is dismissed for lack of work for the company to do for you. So I would consider that to be more of a layoff than a termination.
A couple questions. People outside of the U.S. or Canada are wondering if anything's going to happen to their pricing.
No, like I said, we're not looking for excuses to jack up pricing. And we don't expect, our European customers to subsidize the business that will inevitably be reduced to our friends down south. And I mean that, right? Like there's a lot of Canadians that are, all very, fuck America or whatever, right? But I'm not. We have many people who we consider to be friends of ourselves, whether that's personally. We have friends of our business, the people who've supported us for all these years, right? Like we bear no ill will to the American people who have done absolutely nothing, and quite frankly, will be the ones suffering the brunt of a lot of this.
It's gonna be rough.
Like we're not looking to add insult to injury for y'all, right?
We just also have to survive.
Yeah,